So, Coach, in light of yesterday's setback against G League United, what adjustments are needed for the team to get your first win here?
Sobre el revés de ayer contra G League United, ¿qué necesitas hacer para tener la primera victoria?
Creo que hoy podemos nosotros generar el ritmo de juego más alto. Intentaremos correr, jugar más rápido y la dinámica colectiva nos tiene que favorecer.
He has to make the game rhythm has to be much higher. They have to run and play fast, and the collective dynamic has to be much better.
And it's still early on in the season. What does your team need to improve on to get closer to what level they want to get at?
Todavía temprano de su temporada, entonces, ¿qué necesita hacer para llegar al nivel que quiere hacer?
Tenemos muy poco tiempo de trabajo, solo 2 semanas. Es un equipo nuevo y necesitamos más tiempo de entrenamiento, más tiempo de convivir juntos el equipo, más partidos para volver a ser un equipo importante.
So they only had a little time together. They've just been together for 2 weeks. It's a fairly new team, so they need more time to train, more time to live together as a team and to know each other better.
Thank you. Hi Coach, so it's the first game for you and your team in this tournament. Having had the opportunity to analyze your opponents yesterday, how are you approaching this match against Quimsa?
We're just approaching these 3 games the same way. We haven't done a lot of work on any of these teams. We're just concerned about ourselves, and ultimately for us it's trying to be healthy when we leave here.
And this is the first time ever for an Australian team playing in the FIBA tournament. What does the participation mean for the Jack Runners?
It's the JackJumpers. Just a global exposure for Tasmania is obviously important for us, for our brand, and obviously to represent the NBL.
Thank you.
Day 2 of the FIBA Intercontinental Cup. You can look at the standings. NBA G League United winning against Quimsa on day 1. So now it is Quimsa trying to breathe some life into their campaign, going up against Tasmania JackJumpers, who are making their the first ever appearance for an Australian team here at the FIBA Intercontinental Cup. It's the 2nd year in a row for Singapore hosting this wonderful event. And what better person to have here alongside me, I'm Jeff Taylor, than Andrew Gaze, an Australian who has a lot of great insight into the JackJumpers.
Well, they are, and the JackJumpers story is it's just an incredible one. They've only been in the competition for 3 seasons. First season they made the championship series. The second season they got to the semi-final, and last season got all the way through to the grand final series, and were the underdogs in that one against Melbourne United, but pulled out a miraculous Game 5 victory on the road in Melbourne in spectacular fashion. And Tasmania, relative small population, it's the island at the bottom of Australia, and they did incredibly well. Scott Roth, the head coach that you just saw, he has to take a lot of credit for it. He's built a culture so quickly, and he's built that culture on a really working class team. In fact, Pre-season started for these guys about a month ago. First week, they're not even in the gym. He makes them go out, work in the community, whether it be laboring, whether it be on the farms. There's a whole bunch of different things that he has his players do so they can have a greater appreciation for the opportunity they have and the value of representing Tasmania. And it's proven to be a very successful formula for him.
That is fantastic. And do the players know about this before they sign with this team?
Well, they do now, and certainly he's done it every season, and certainly new players coming in are aware of the commitment and the culture that he's built. And of course, that's all great, but you've got to have some really high-quality players in order to win a championship in the NBL. It's regarded as one of the top leagues in the world right now, and they're put together. They had 2 Olympians on their team from last season. Unfortunately, Jack McVeigh was one of them. He's gone. He won't be playing tonight. He's left the program and is currently with the Houston Rockets trying to make the roster. So we spoke to Scott Roth, and he said that there is a chance that he actually may return for this season. And the other one's Will Magnate, big starting center for the JackJumpers, and he plays a pivotal role. The stats aren't going to jump off the page, but he's a big-time player for him.
Yeah, I mean, it really speaks highly that you have 2 guys that played at the Olympics for the Australian team. I mean, that was a great team. We all know what happened. You know, they almost beat Serbia in the quarterfinals. I mean, it's basketball is huge, and I think expectations are very high for this JackJumpers team, despite the absence of McVeigh. I still think that people, at least around here, are projecting this team to be a real threat to make it all the way to the final.
Yeah.
And potentially take on maybe Unicaja. We'll see. Unicaja Malaga.
Well, they've had some injury issues, the JackJumpers, and tonight they're going to get a couple of players back who's missed the first couple of preseason games, and they are significant players as well. Sean McDonald, he played big minutes in the championship win last season, and Anthony Drimmick is the other one who is a veteran of the NBL competition. So they're going to rely on his leadership. Don't know how many minutes they're going to play tonight because they are coming back from injury, but they are 2 significant pieces to what the JackJumpers have put together.
Well, the lights have lowered here in the Singapore Indoor Arena. And the JackJumpers, I think with Quimsa, you know, they had to play a tough game yesterday against the NBA G League United team. But this is a team that needs time together, and we heard from their coach before this game, Coach Ramela, that they're a new team, new bodies, and they need time. But you could see signs of Quimsa getting better and being a threat to come out and get a win today against the JackJumpers.
My word, I think you're going to see a different team, particularly from what we saw in the first half against the G League team last night. And they're going to need more help. Tavario Miller was really big. He had 16 boards, which is incredible. Nicholas Romano, the veteran, come away. He had 12 points, and Augustin Perez with 11 points. But they need more help, and they need it at both ends of the floor, but particularly 65 points. Very hard to win basketball games if you're only going to put up 65. And we heard the coach beforehand wanting to play a little up tempo a little bit more, and that's trying to find easier scoring opportunities.
Yeah, I was actually quite impressed by how they didn't go away. I mean, they battled throughout. One thing you can't question about this team is their toughness. So as they come out, we can see Juan Brasino. He had a tough shooting day, but nevertheless was combative, as was Tavario Miller, who you mentioned had all those rebounds. I mean, he was basically their biggest threat inside. You look at Tavares, that shooting threat outside, they need him to be good, and they just need everybody, you know, one more day, Ralphie, one more day. I mean, you know, it's not going to hurt them to have played yesterday. It's only going to make them better. Yeah, you heard Coach beforehand, only been together for a couple of weeks. They've only got 10 players here suited up, and I think that this is a big part of their preseason, and it does take some time to iron things out. You think of Romano, who was possibly their best player, but he wasn't with the program last season, so he's a new acquisition, and trying to establish roles is going to be part of the experience here, as much as winning is important.
Zesula, who you mentioned, relatively young guy,
Here he is.
he's impressive. He wears number 80, but really athletic. He can shoot the long ball, and I think he's got a bright future.
Yeah, I think he definitely does. And I like San Simone as well, so I don't think it's a question of talent, really. I mean, maybe they lack some size, but I think they need time together. They need some time to gel. And you could probably say the same thing about this JackJumpers team. We don't know what we're going to get today. They played some games in the build-up, but without question, on paper, it seems like this is the team that should win, but we'll see, because we've seen some good performances from the Argentina teams over the years.
And I know Scott Roth, he wants to represent Australia and in particular the NBL well, so they're going to take this game really seriously, this whole tournament, and they've got a talented team.
Talented team indeed. So they're going to be introduced now. Clint Steindl, who I think probably has the reputation for being a perimeter threat. I know he played for Australia at the Asia Cup. I saw him play before Jordan Crawford, obviously. And it's interesting that Jordan Crawford had some time in the Basketball Champions League with MHP Rees in Lewisburg back in the day, several years ago. Brody Nunn played some American college basketball.
Yeah, it's Seattle, and he's new to the team, new to the league.
As did this man, Drimmick, who is a legend at Boise State.
Well, that's right. That was a while ago. He's been in the NBL for quite some time.
And Majok Deng, you know, we talk about the Olympians in this team. Well, guess what? They've got a South Sudanese Olympian in him, in Dimick. And then Ruben Tarangi, one of the better tall blacks over the years from New Zealand. Gorjak Gak promises to get some minutes. And Krislovich, Sean McDonald, who we're not exactly sure what we're going to see from him today because of the injuries. And there is Krislovich, Fabian Krislovich.
Krislovic is a veteran.
Krislovic, excuse me.
That's okay.
I forgot the Australian pronunciation.
He's a veteran of the competition. He's a meat and potatoes type guy. There's Will Magnate, the Olympian.
Milton Doyle, who will get the ball in his hands in those crunch situations, you would imagine. And we don't know what to expect from Craig Sword. He's a newcomer to this team.
He is, and he's an experienced guy, been around a while, but not a lot of international experience. Been in the G League most recently with the Mad Ants, and he's going to be asked to do a lot.
So we got referees lining up as well between these two teams. We'll introduce them in a minute, but obviously with Boris Krejci from Slovenia on the left and Johnny Batista from Puerto Rico in the middle, who's the crew chief today, a couple of gentlemen that refereed at the Olympics. So that just goes to show the stature of what they've been able to achieve, and also what they want to bring here, and also the highly rated Ariadna Chueca Moreno from Spain. So it's a good refereeing crew.
It is, and I think it speaks volumes of the tournament that FIBA, they go all out to make sure that this is high quality, and they brought in the best refs from around the world to officiate.
Well, it's not only that, it's like how they come and they bring their coordinators here and they evaluate, and then they go back and they look at the games and they really analyze. So they want to make sure that, you know, at all these events that they're getting as good officiating as possible.
Well, I was talking to some of the officials, and a lot of them have been here over a week because they're doing clinics, referee clinics right throughout Singapore as they try to grow the game. And we sometimes we abuse them too much, and we take them for granted way too much. But without them, we don't have a game. So exactly. It's they are a very important part of the growth of the game. And I think overall, certainly since my time, standards are on the improve. The education that FIBA puts into their officials is second to none, and it's they're not going to ever get too much praise, but I like the style of play that FIBA is now introducing, and a lot of that's because of the direction that they're providing to the officials.
So the team's going through their final warm-ups, and again, Tasmania will play their first game. This will be the first game an Australian team has played at the FIBA Intercontinental Cup. And after this game, the next one will be tomorrow against the NBA G League United. So Tavario Miller, Juan Brasino, brother of Nicolas Brasino from Argentina, Patricio Tavares, Emiliano Basabe, and Nicolas Romano in the starting five, with Ralphie, Perez, Sansamoni, Passarani, and Zazubar coming off the bench. And there he is, the highly rated Leandro Ramela, who inked a 2-year extension to his contract. And Argentina have had some great coaches over the years, no doubt about it. Jordan Crawford, Anthony Dremick, Ruben Taranki, Will Magnay, and Milton Doyle will start for the JackJumpers, with Nunn, Dane, Gack, McDonald, Kraslovic, Sword, and Steindl coming off the bench for Coach Roth. Walter Brown is here with them, but not dressed out today. And for the JackJumpers. So the FIBA Intercontinental Cup being staged in Singapore for 3 consecutive years. This is a competition that goes all the way back to 1965. Here's Scott Roth putting the JackJumpers through their final paces or instructions. And Scott Roth had some time in the NBA as a player, long time as an assistant coach. Highly rated in Spain when he was there as a player, and also with Sevilla as the coach.
He's also had experience on the international stage as an assistant coach with the Chinese national team, I think with the Turkish national team. So he has a lot of experience as a coach. And also in the NBL, he was the assistant to Trevor Gleeson at the Perth Wildcats during some of the halcyon days of the Perth Wildcats winning championships. So he is very much acclimatized to Australian basketball, and he's regarded globally as a great coach.
Yeah, but it's like, I think what really says more about him than anything is what you said before the game about how he brought a culture and decided, you know what, we're going to get out and get to know our fans and show them that we're gonna work just as hard off the court with them, just so we can understand what they're all about before we go out and play basketball.
Well, it certainly sets a tone, and it sits perfectly into the working class culture of Tasmania. He's adopted that, they've embraced it. They play in a stadium that holds about 4,500, 5,000, and they sell out their season tickets in about half an hour each season. It's only new, but that's what happens when you get success. And Ruben Tarangi starting is, I think, a product of just trying to find that replacement for Jack McVeigh. He's a big hole to fill.
Man, that's a huge hole to fill, no doubt about it. I think if he's here, you say this is a team that's going to win it. Without him, let's see how they cope.
Yeah, well, it has, not how they cope, how they adjust.
How they adjust, okay, yeah.
Is a politer way, I think, to describe it.
No doubt about it. It's not just a one-man team. Well, hello, everybody. Good afternoon. We are underway on day 2 at the FIBA Intercontinental Cup. The Tasmanian JackJumpers playing against Quimsa from Santiago del Estero in Argentina. And the first time a team from Australia has ever played in the FIBA Intercontinental Cup. And Will Magnay, the Olympian, goes in for the first bucket.
And you're going to see a lot of that in the half court, really structured. They get it through some hands and identify their targets. And that was clearly predetermined to go to Magnay down low against Miller.
Juan Brasino puts up a difficult shot. Saw the same thing on day one from Quimsa. A little bit slow starting, not getting the best of shots early. And Ruben Tarangi almost turning it over, gets it back for Jordan Crawford, who whips the pass to the corner. Drimmick misses everything. And see if there's a little bit more sharpness to the game of Quimsa here at the start of this game. They're looking a little heavy leg right at the start, to be honest. Well, that was a sweet drive by Perez Tapia.
Well, this is a veteran team coming together, and having to back up within 24 hours can be a test, and particularly when some of your better players are nudging that 33, 34 plus.
Magnay, little jump hook, gets it back, puts it up, and Miller went up, got in his way, and Spanish referee signals the jump ball, so the possession arrow will favor Quimsa.
Here we see that middle on ball. Magnay just a little late, wasn't able to cut it off, and that's a really good finish at the rim against a good shot blocker in Magnay.
Wow, the good steal from Jordan Crawford. He's going to go in. And, well, the pump fake, Quimsa were not going to give away an uncontested layup.
No, Scott Roth's on the sideline. He wants an unsportsmanlike, but I don't think he'll get this one. That's just really good hands by Jordan Crawford. He's one of the smallest players in this tournament, and when you're small, you got to have quick hands, and you saw it on that occasion. Good reach in, and goes in, and also smart play in the transition. Knew he had a bigger guy coming down on him, and just timed it perfectly, got him off his feet.
I should say, by the way, Ariadna Chueca Moreno was also an Olympic referee, so we got 3 Olympic referees out here today.
Jordan Crawford, if we Australian viewers go back to that grand final series, in that first half in the game 5, Jordan Crawford put on a clinic at the offensive end, and if it was not for his scoring in that first half, they would not have raised the cup with the championship win.
So a player clearly that has the respect of everybody down under, and especially in Tasmania. Here's Romano putting up a tough shot and making it, and he was wanting the foul as well, but I've got to be honest, I'm really impressed by Romano coming out. I've seen him play a lot of games over the years, and he's really kind of carried this Quimsa team here at the FIBA Intercontinental Cup. Milton Doyle missing it from
he's a
the
pro.
perimeter.
Here he is. He's a pro. He sees the floor, plays well with his teammates, and he can score off the ball. Drimmick just holding Romano. That's not real subtle. But Romano, he's 37 years of age. He's still pretty mobile without being explosively quick, but that up and under move and the footwork of the veteran, he's able to create some shot opportunities and most importantly get his shot off.
A traveling call gives it back to the JackJumpers. Yeah, it's interesting. He was wanting a foul on that shot, but then when you watch the replay, there was no foul. They're letting him play. Ramela on the bench. Here's Crawford. Count it. That's a 3.
Well, that's what he's renowned for. Averaged 16 points a game last season. But he can explode. He can score in bunches, and he can put 10 or 15 up in really short periods of time, and then all of a sudden you don't see him for a little while. So he can be streaky, but he can hurt you at the rim and, of course, from the three-point line. Scoring was the real issue last night against the G League team for Quimsa.
Yeah, Quimsa's their What would you say? It's just their shooting rhythm so far has
Well,
eluded them?
when you've only had 2 weeks preparation, it can be a little tough.
Well, here's Romano. And Miller with one of the many boards he'll get today. Brasino missing, and Perez gets it back, so another opportunity. And that jumper no good as well from Basabe. And now the foul called.
That's a take foul that's well camouflaged. And by take foul, I mean a foul where the intent was to foul, to stop the transition. Quimsa want to, they're much more comfortable in the half court.
Here's Romano. Miller trying to make himself available. And Will Magne with the foul, the bump.
I like the ball pressure by Magne. He's up and in. It's just a little too much on that one. Very physical. They're allowing.
Miller's a big guy, I mean, but Magne just makes him look not quite so big, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Magne's a legitimate 7-footer. Here's the three-pointer. Finally, one drops. Brasino.
And one of the things about the NBL, as far as pace of play, there's the NBA, and the NBL is next globally as far as pace of play. And having said that, though, when you think of the JackJumpers as the champion team, they were 10th in the NBL in pace of play. So sometimes we get a little caught up, you know, oh, let's just get out there and run the floor and get up as many shots as we can. But they really found that balance, and you pick their time to go and also get in the half court.
Should say that Magne is actually 6'10", 2.08 meters. But he definitely is a big fella. Here he is, catching it down low, and goes up and scores over Miller. And the size definitely something that he's taken advantage of. So getting some minutes from McDonald. Here's Romano. Brasino, will it be 2 in a row? No, it will not. Crawford pulls up on the break. Short. Steindel's going to check into the game, as will Gorjak Jack. And McDonald whistled for a reach. Look at this. So he catches it down low.
That's what he's renowned for, a good athlete. Bujuk Deng comes in. He was the other one that you were talking about in regards to being an Olympian.
Oh, sorry, I thought that was Gak coming in. It's Deng, yeah, Gorjak Deng.
He did a fantastic job with South Sudan, and they were an exciting proposition at the Olympic Games.
They definitely were. Got a win against Puerto Rico. Here's Steindl. Turn around. So Quimsa from the corner. Perez missing. Just that shot so far not falling.
For both teams.
Steindl again. This time it does, right on cue.
That he's more comfortable shooting a wide open three than he is a layup. That's his game. When he gets his feet set from the three-point line, there's not too many better than Clint Steindl.
Sansimone into Miller. He gets rejected by Will Magne. Deng travels, moved his pivot.
Shuffling of the pivot foot. And here's the stuff they make, and this is maybe one of the question marks we have about the Jack Jumpers this season. Marcus Lee was part of their program. He was another guy that was 210, 212. He's gone back to where he first started in the NBL to Melbourne United, and they go small. So Krislovic comes in now as an undersized 5, but it gives them that versatility. They can switch everything with this lineup in the half court, as you see there. In fact, they trap.
Yeah, so Krislovic, 2.04 meters in height, 6 feet 8 inches.
In shoes, I reckon.
Do you guys go with feet and inches?
No, we go.
You go meters.
Yeah, we go meters. But everyone in Australia, when it comes to
Basketball, you
height,
know.
yeah.
Oh, Steindl. Hand in the face. Ding, knocks it. San Simone now has it. Basabi's pass eludes
Well, this
Ruffy.
has got a real pre-season stench about it. The way these teams, no one can really find the rim.
Oh, Doyle misses as well. McDonald.
Wow. 4 of 14 now for the Jack Jumpers, and fortunately for them, Quimsa are 3 of 12, so neither team lighting it up in the half court. Oh my.
Well, that was right on cue. San Simone as well, missing. Well, we got you here. You could shoot it. Peja Stojakovic is here watching. He's going into the FIBA Hall of Fame. He's sitting courtside. So what's the call here?
There's a technical foul on Majuk Deng, and that is one of the quickest whistles I've heard on a tech foul. The incident took place right in front of us, and Majuk Deng, he's a little befuddled at how he got the tech. It's gonna
he was jawing a minute ago after his travel, but you don't want to give away easy points in a game like this when the other team is struggling.
It seemed to me
a quick whistle.
A really quick whistle, though. Usually the officials will, hey, settle down, you know, any more of that. I mean, there was no warning whatsoever here. It was bang, tech. Well, they've set the tone.
San Simone. Basabi down low to Miller, back outside. Ruffy. Ooh.
Yeah, well, compared to the game we saw last night between Quimsa and the G League, I think the officials may have got together after watching the 2 games last night and said, we might have to tighten this up a little bit, because it was very prickly out there with the players, and it was bordering on
going over the top,
explode into an incident. So, and we've seen a few tighter calls than what we saw last night, which I think is for the better.
Crawford with a jumper. Well, he's got his jumper working. And with that, it's 15-8. Tasmania on top. And the big fella coming in and off the bench. Bassarani. So sudden impact for him. Milton Doyle from the left corner knocks it down.
Now he's starting to get it going, and coming from reliable sources too. Milton Doyle, he's regarded in Australia as one of the great closers when the game's on the line, not afraid of the big moment.
Bassarani, 2 in a row for him, number 32. So in other words, when the game is on the line at the end of the contest, they will be putting the ball in Milton Doyle's hands.
They normally do, and he's delivered consistently in that department for a couple of seasons.
There he gets it down low to Krislovic, who banks it in. And that is it. One quarter is in the books. So Tasmania off. A little bit of shooting struggles for both teams, but Tasmania nevertheless have opened up an 8-point advantage. Majok Ding, his teammates going over and telling him, calm down, it's okay, you got a technical, let's just have a good time. He's definitely,
Yeah. Well, neither team really lit it up from the perimeter. The field goal percentages are well down, 33% for the Jack Jumpers, 5 of 15, and they were fortunate enough to knock down their last couple. And Quimsa, 4 of 14. And that's makes it hard. You only get 10 points in a quarter. It's a challenge, and let's not forget, in the first quarter yesterday, they only had 6.
Okay, so yeah, Magne is going to be a problem for whoever they face in this tournament, you would think.
No, he's got good size and he protects the rim. That time wasn't able to do so, but down the other end, Jordan Crawford, Milton Doyle, they're going to, the ones that have kept the scoreboard ticking over. Crawford with the 8. So 8 of the 17 that the Jack Jumpers have, 8 of the 20 that they've scored has come at the hand of Jordan Crawford. And it was a quarter where there's some really good looks. Steindl, he can knock down the 3, some good looks. And offensively, the systems and some of the patterns were creating some good scoring opportunities, but just weren't able to knock down shots.
Do you think it works to their advantage that they didn't play yesterday? That they didn't play on day one, Tasmania? Or
I think so, because of the travel. I mean, everyone's got travel, so you can't really use that
unless Quimsa had won.
Well, that's true, but I think that Quimsa having to back up, it's not easy 24 hours after you've played to come back. And that game last night was pretty high tempo. G League team wanted to get out and run a lot, so they had to do a lot of work in transition. And
well, you know, Ramela talked about his team needing to get out and run, and we haven't really seen that today. So the Jack Jumpers have not allowed them to speed up the tempo.
I think the Jack Jumpers, they're trying to get on track. They've had a couple of preseason games, and they lost to the Adelaide 36ers a few earlier in the week, and quite handsomely, 32 points, I think it was.
Milton Doyle not having any success against Vasarani. Vasarani's made an impact since coming into the game. Sansamoni for 3.
You saw Sansamoni warming up, had a chat to him, and boy, when he's out there by himself, he can really knock him down. He didn't miss too many.
Steindl, speaking of good shooters, there you go. Number 35.
Yeah, and that's a good sign for him. He played the offseason in the NBL 1 competition in Hobart. So he's tried to stay in shape by playing in the offseason. And I think for a veteran, that's a good situation. There you see Sansamoni in the transition.
Well, I know a lot of the guys that play for the national teams in the summer, if they're fortunate enough to be selected. Oh, it was a pass down low. They get it over to Vasarani, and this time probably his easiest attempt, and he misses it. And Crawford is not fouled. He pushes it quickly, then the ball's deflected out of bounds. But you were sharper, presumably, when you played league season after playing in the summer.
Yeah, well, sometimes because I played in Europe a little bit, we played all year round, and now it can take a toll on your body. You got to make sure you get enough rest. And Steindl didn't start the NBL 1 season. He came in probably a quarter of the way in, but I think it's helpful. Wow.
Milton Doyle missing. Here's the pass, and they talk about wanting to speed it up a little bit. Sansamoni this time unsuccessful. Oh, excuse me, that was Patricio Tabares. And Sansamoni elects not to pass it up the floor. Oh, behind the back pass, look at that. Oh, good recovery, Magne with the rejection.
And that's what he's renowned for. He's that last line of defense, can protect the rim.
Tavares thought he was going to have an easy layup. Oh, hands up on defense.
And we've seen Clint Steinel knock down a couple of shots. And last season, the entire season, he took 115 shots. 95 of them came from the three-point line. So he gets a nosebleed if he goes inside the paint. and he just feels so much more comfortable around the perimeter. Knows his role perfectly. And Scott Roth built a system to exploit him perfectly.
Boy. And Magne goes right at Fastarani, who I thought did about as well as he could in that situation, but the foul was called on him. Look at this. Yeah, it was because at that last minute he kind of shuffled over in front of him. So Magne at the line. Actually has a nice stroke, doesn't he?
Well, not...
Hey, look at this. Peja Stojakovic.
Yeah.
In the blue shirt. Romain Sato to his right.
Going to be inducted into the FIBA Hall of Fame, is that right?
That is indeed true, yeah. Romain Sato with the Central African Republic, a longtime player, had a great career. Legendary career at Xavier in the States in American college basketball, and then played for the longest time with top European clubs. So Tabata missing it from deep. And of course, Stojakovic, one of the stars for the Yugoslavia team, won the 2002 FIBA Basketball World Cup and had a long NBA career with Sacramento especially. Milton Doyle takes it in, misses. Oh, how about that? Nice pickup from Dremic. And the quick score. And the lead goes back up to 12.
That's just a good hustle play by Dremic. And with also the knowledge of there was only a couple of seconds left and he knew he had to get it off.
Another turnover. Dremic up ahead on the break, catches, puts it up, misses, and a good hustle down the floor by Zezular.
Wow.
Oh, the pass saved. Oh, great hustle by Sansimone. And then Tabata is blocked yet again by Magne, who just is not allowing this Quimsa team to have any joy down low. And traveling now called on Jordan Crawford.
The turnovers starting to creep in. Not a lot in total. 5 for the JackJumpers and 4 for Quimsa, but it's just on recently, the last few possessions starting to creep in as the players get a little fatigued.
Speaking of fatigue, it's timeout. So they'll be appreciating that with 6 minutes, 8 seconds to go. Let's see if we can listen in.
Defender bien, rebote ofensivo nos meten 2 puntos, nos duele mucho, porque nosotros estamos para o nos ponemos en juego o se nos van. Esos pequeños detalles van a hacer que podamos hacer una cosa u otra.
Con la presión ahora, con la presión.
So one of the problems facing Quimsa.
Acá Agus, ahí Agus. Nico, ahí Edu. Juan abajo, Nico cae. Me voy para acá y lo venís a buscar. Salís Nico y hacés falso. Chule, hagan falso para acá. Si no tenés nada, vení a jugar.
Magne, he's got 3 blocks in the first half. We still got 6 minutes to go.
And that doesn't include shots that he's changed, just with coming into the paint and just his presence there. They know he's a shot blocker. They would have done their scout on him in particular with his international experience playing at the Olympic Games and seen what he's capable of doing. They just can't score.
I remember he had to guard Jokic.
Yeah, and
That's
others.
a thankless task. Antetokounmpo.
They're only 6 of 21. They only had 65 points last night, so
Romano
to
the rescue.
Trying to help carry it, but every single possession, it just seems like hard work for Quimsa at the moment to get clean looks.
Trying to pick it up defensively. Vasarani, Magne whips around the perimeter. Donald, and this is right at the end. What do you attribute that to? It's just early season?
Yeah, there's a breakdown. They throw it into the post, and that was a designated play, and you could see they were trying to draw up some action on the weak side, and the cutting action took too long, and as such they ran out of time, and McDonald forced to throw up a shot that he really wasn't comfortable with, and an air ball.
Romano hands it off, picks, now gets it back. Brasino, three-pointer. Well, you know his brother, Nicholas Brasino, is an out-and-out scorer from deep. Clearly, Brasino's family spent a lot of time shooting some threes, and if he gets going, this could be a different game. Drimmick. Brasino getting it off with Magne running right at him. I don't think that's the sight that you want to see if you're a shooter.
What's interesting, Craig Sword hasn't seen any time yet for the JackJumpers. He's their new import signing.
Well, that was just a breakdown defensively by Quimsa, but they got away with it because McDonald missed the layup. Romano going between his legs.
Geez.
Being back in the game and a moving screen.
Now Romano, you can see he's upset, but I don't for the life of him can understand how he can complain about this. Here he is, there's one, then he just moves and it's just a moving screen.
The second one, yeah.
Well, even the first one, the shuffling a little, and to think that you can get away with that, I don't understand why you complain.
Well, he's definitely not going to get away with the second one. But that's what a lot of players struggle with, is setting those screens. Oh, look at, dang! This is his first dunk of the tournament, of the Intercontinental Cup.
Well, they put a lot of pressure with those cuts, that flex action that they run.
Nice pump fake, Romano, but then he gets blocked by Magne, his fourth block of the first half. Could end up getting a triple-double at this stage. Magne, 6 points, 4 blocks.
And here you see down low that pass off the flex action. Shook Deng goes up, doesn't need any gather step, tucks it in with 2 hands. I think they've got to reevaluate how they're playing Magne down this end as well.
Drimmick stays with it. Well, they've had a couple of shots down low that haven't fallen, or else this lead would be even bigger than 9 points.
Well, they're 10 of 26 at 38%. Normally, that might cause some problems, but 8 of 24, 33% for Quimsa.
Brasino tried to hand it off, and Vasarani not able to catch it right at the end. So we got a timeout on the court. Scott Roth. And we'll go down to the huddle to try to listen to the coach of the JackJumpers.
guard exchange on the side, don't switch that because they're trying to post that kid right away. So give me the ball, let me through. But don't switch that first side, late in the clock. We're going to come down and blast, so we're just going to come and play right away. All right, but we're going to run it the other way with the 5-man here. Jook, you're in the box. We're going to come across and hand it back. You're going to step up on your screen. Shawnee, 1 or 2 dribbles, and Magna is going to step, and JC's coming in behind for the hand back.
You want Jook to pop then and I'll slip?
Yeah, Jook, fake the screen and pop after that. Got it?
I'll set it and pop, however you want to see it.
Hey, 3 minutes here, good basketball. Together, 1, 2, 3 together. Execute. We're in 4-12 out of here.
What's your feel right now for this Jack Jumpers team, where they are with respect to this Intercontinental Cup?
Well, I think they
got a chance.
I think so. They're going to have to play a whole lot better because there's some really high quality teams here, and even tonight I saw their game earlier in the week against the Adelaide 36ers, and they looked poor. Lost by 32, and they're getting some good looks. They're not always connecting, but
well, I'll tell you what, it takes a lot to send Magne crashing to the ground, to the hardwood.
Was that Perez running through him?
Well, Perez is saying that it was a dive. Let's have a look.
Oh no, it's not Perez.
Yep, Perez Tapia.
Is it him? Oh yeah, it is. He thought it was a flop, and Will Magne-Meyer put a little bit of mayo on it, but I don't know whether that was enough that would prevent him from making that call. Now with Magne, this is an area of his game that needs to improve. Just a touch over 50% last season.
That surprises me because I thought that his first trip to the line he looked pretty good.
Well, I was about to say that is that in this offseason he's worked on his free throws.
Yeah.
So the technique has improved, and if he sticks with that, he's worked with one of the legends of the NBL competition, Derek Rucker, in the offseason on his free throws, and it's showing some promise.
Perez missing that one. I think he was looking pretty good until you said something about it, and that was kind of like a karma issue. It was transmitted, and then he missed his first one.
Yeah, well, like everything, it's about being consistent. The first one, perhaps a little smoother stroke than the second, and we're going to have a look at Crawford as he works his way.
Ramella not liking this call. Yeah, it seems a little
was the
difficult.
call on?
Kind of a tough on Perez.
On Perez. I think he got into his body a little. As I hear the cries of bias from our international audiences, I'm sure. But I'm trying to, I'm as objective as I can possibly be. It looked like there was a little nudge.
Impartial is your middle name.
Yes. Not always the response I get, but that's okay.
Crawford, not the biggest guy, 5 feet 6 inches, but impacts the game in a huge way. Quimsa down 11. Look for something easy here, and Romano stepped out of bounds.
I like the rotation. A lot of the on-ball screens, the Tasmanian JackJumpers, they're hard showing. And on the roller, you've got to be able to rotate and get back to help out, because it's hard for the guy that's hard show to get back to his man. But they're doing a good job of helping the helper and scrambling and forcing Quimsa into some turnovers.
Oh, good defense from Romano. Albeit a bad pass as well. And now Brasino. Tavares drives in, and Magne not able to get over quickly enough to block that one.
And I don't know why teams don't do more of that to Jordan Crawford. It just...
Oh, the lob, and Magne can't quite get it. Miller tried to start the break. Dane knocked it away, but here they come now. They're trying to speed it up. And good, strong drive, and Tavares is going to the line. Much better.
Absolutely. And that's what the coach before the start of the game was talking about, getting out, trying to push the tempo. Now, it's a lot easier to do that off a turnover, of course, but even on rebounds or made baskets, keep pushing the ball and explore your options early. If not, then get into your half-court set. But it seems like they're more willing just to, okay, let's just walk it up and see if we can't get some things going in the half-court.
Tabara is definitely one of the scorers in this team, and last time out was a good one as Quimsa trimmed the deficit to just 8 points.
It feels, maybe because they're not shooting so well, it feels like a bigger lead than that, doesn't it? Just with the way the game is being played.
Yep, now down by 7. Milton Doyle steps back, puts it up, and drains the three-pointer.
Well, that's not uncommon. All of a sudden, things start to get a little tight. They put the ball in the hands of Milton Doyle. Simple action, simple zone action, dribble handoff, and creates a good scoring opportunity.
Oh boy, tough turnover almost. They got to go quickly. Miller, they don't have much time, and they will get a shot off Basabi for 3, but misses everything. Amazing how one jump shot by Doyle can just change the momentum. Because Quimsa starting to get the wind in their sails. There's Jordan Crawford showing the handles.
They go back to the same play.
He's going to take it in this time, and he's going to be denied. But the ball goes out of bounds off Quimsa.
She looked pretty open, though. It was a great defensive play to save the day, but that middle lane after that handoff looked wide open.
Here's Doyle again. It's going up. It's going short.
Oh, wet spot, I think.
I need to get the towel out. San Simone. So final 15 seconds of the first half. Teams are looking for a little momentum before halftime. And the pass down low, and they got the size advantage. Romano saying I was going up. They're going to inbound it.
It was a good foul. It was a good foul because it was going to lead to a easy bucket. And that's where Jordan Crawford, he's smart. He knows his limitations and he knows how to use his fouls to protect himself from those situations.
Let's go down to the bench and listen to Coach Ramela.
Pato acá, porque le va a quedar para la izquierda. Acá Ti, Nico, y acá saca Chule y acá Emi. Y hacemos así, Pato, pasá por acá, ¿sí? A la piña vas a pasar por acá, porque te van a dejalo que te hagan todo eso y enrulate acá rápido. ¿Está claro? Si cuando vas pasando por acá, él te corta, salís a tirar. Si es zona, hacés lo mismo. Si es zona, hacés lo mismo. Hacés lo mismo. Te venís por acá, pero mirá, tocás acá y Nico, hacés esto, si es zona. ¿Entendiste? ¿Entendiste, Nico?
Okay, here's an opportunity for Quimsa if they can get a bucket here before halftime. Get a little bit of the feel-good factor going to the locker room. And remember, against NBA G League United, they came out strong in the second half.
Oh my word, it was a marked improvement in the second half, and a lot of it was predicated on trying to play a bit more up-tempo.
San Simone's going to inbound the basketball. He's going to try to. Ooh. Oh, he did not. Try to is the operative word. He wasn't able to get it in bounds.
Well, now we're going to see another timeout, and Scott Roth's going to draw up a play. Look at the frustration on the bench of Quimsa.
Yeah, Quimsa's blown opportunity. So Scott Roth, they got to get up the floor quickly.
5 seconds.
That's
5.5 seconds is plenty of time.
Yeah, just get it to Jordan Crawford and let him go.
What's up, Dang? Good? Milton Doyle. Clint, run him as hard as you can and come back.
Yep.
There he is. Magne on the inside. We're looking for that one over, Clint. Then we're turning and we're looking for JC on the run down this way. All right, hook and ladder. Now listen, if he goes and they jam him, just hit Milt, and they just hit Magne direct, make your cut, JC. Don't hand it to him, throw it over his head so they can run after it. All right? Finish it up here, together, 1, 2, 3, together.
What's your prediction? Points here for Steindl?
Well,
Or is he a decoy?
he's an option out there. We couldn't see the whiteboard what they're drawing up, but I heard Jordan Crawford's name, and he's going to be the inbounder. So he's going to be on a full sprint if it's going to go to him.
Interesting seeing the G League United coaches here scouting this game. They're definitely paying attention to this play.
It looks like Quimsa is... They're not going to... Well, they are. They're going to
pressure the ball.
Trying to extend it a
inbounds.
little. Take some time off the clock. So they want to try, and if Milton Doyle gets this, they want to try and put enough pressure up in just to kill a couple of seconds off the clock. Now they couldn't make the sub because they'd already made the sub and there had been no time coming off the clock. So they weren't allowed to make that sub. So
now does this play work?
Well, I think Sean McDonald, he's got just as much capability as Crawford.
Well, he definitely has the shot, and can you believe it? He's gonna laugh.
Not a good feeling if you're a shooter and you see that happen.
Everybody's laughing. Oh my goodness. Even McDonald. The wedgie. 34-24. Tasmania JackJumpers on top of Quimsa at halftime.
Well, let's hope they can dust themselves off and improve on the shooting percentages. Overall, field goal percentage is 35% for the JackJumpers, only 33% for Quimsa, and the assists fairly even, steals fairly even. And the other factor is the turnover. Quimsa, 9 turnovers in that first half.
I think we're going to hear from Will Magne here at the break.
So Will, up by 10 points at halftime, what allowed you to take control early in this game?
I think our defense has been solid. We're pushing them out and making them shoot long threes. We got to do a better job cleaning up the rebounds.
And you only considered 6 points in the paint, and you personally already have 3 blocks. How important is it for you guys not to allow anything easy under the basket?
Yeah, we're doing a good job keeping them out of the paint. Hopefully we can keep doing that in the second half.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, I think Will, when he said that, he's like, "Are you sure? Don't I have 4 blocks?"
I thought he did too.
But at the end of the day, good analysis by Will Magne, and if they can withstand that reaction by Quimsa at the start of the second half, they should be fine. But definitely, I think they've actually played better than I thought they would here at the start of this game. If they'd shot a little bit better, they'd be really up in this game.
Yeah, it is. I think we give the JackJumpers a lot of credit for the way in which they've been able to defend. I think that Quimsa, as we saw, this is almost a carbon copy of what we saw last night against G League United as well. And they had a real poor shooting first half, but once they went in at halftime and changed strategically what they were trying to do. Not getting bogged down so much in the half court, trying to push the tempo. And although they came up short in that one last night, they looked a whole lot better. But you can see the coordination that the JackJumpers have, the high-low options, and that's what I was talking about during the game with Jordan Crawford, so small, just posting him up a little more often. And Milton Doyle, he's a bucket waiting to happen, and whenever it's going to get tough, you know they're going to play through him.
All right, guys, are we ready? DJ, are we ready?
So tough go of it so far for Quimsa here at the FIBA Intercontinental Cup. The second time that they've played in the FIBA Intercontinental Cup. Made their debut a few years ago. And still got some time. They don't want to leave here without getting a win. Obviously, they'll have another game as well. But their hopes of forcing some type of three-way tie drying up quickly here, unless they can turn things around.
My word, and I think they, you look at their guys that they've got and how they can create a few more easier scoring opportunities. The conversation in the halftime is going to be focused on the offense. 24 points is not enough.
Now it's just whose bum is bigger. Oh, it's okay, sweetie. Give her a round of applause. All right, we have 3 boys left. Let's see who's going to walk away with a pair of brand new sunnies. Ready? Let's go. Hey, dance, guys. Dance a little bit. See? Never get distracted when you're playing a game. Sorry, buddy. We've got 1 player left, 2 participants. Who do you think's going to win? Don't know, right? Let's give it a shot. Good sportsmanship. I like it. DJ, let's go. Ladies and gentlemen, clap along. Give me a round of applause. Let's go. Wow. To be great opponents, stand a chance with that one. Thanks, buddy. We have our winner. And of course, we've got a great prize for you. It will pass you very shortly. Was it difficult? No. Now he's just being cool. He's playing cool because, he won. So it's easy, right? Now, I have to ask you, what do you just yet, guys? Who do you think is going to win? All right, now I have your fellow Iran here for you. Congratulations, ladies and gentlemen. Let's give another round of applause. Who's done that earlier, couldn't we? But now it's saved it for the end. All right, we are at halftime. Just 9 minutes left on the clock before we get back to this very, very exciting game.
What does journey mean to you? No matter how you define your journey, we offer you more than just one word. Double your journey, double your happiness. EVA Air.
and roll. So coach, another tough first half for your team, 9 turnovers, shooting 33% overall. What do you need to get out of your offense going into this tournament?
Un duro primera mitad en 9 turnovers y 33% tirando de la cancha. ¿Qué necesita hacer para ganar esto?
Necesitamos mejorar nuestra ofensiva. Si no, tenemos que tratar de generar 2 o 3 acciones ofensivas por ataque, porque nos cuesta mucho encontrar una ventaja.
They have to control the offense, and they need 2 to 3 actions per play to be able to take control of this game. Okay? Gracias.
(34-24) is Tasmania JackJumpers on top of Quimsa. And a battle of Australia against Argentina here on day 2 at the FIBA Intercontinental Cup 2024 in Singapore. And, well, Tasmania JackJumpers
very much in that pre-season mode and still trying to figure out their roles. And also with some of their players who have been injured during the pre-season, just trying to nurse them through. Sean McDonald's one of those. Anthony Drimmick, this is both those two guys, their first game. They haven't been part of the previous 2 in what Australia is known as the NBL Blitz, where all the teams come together. They're up on the Gold Coast and playing. And I think that anytime you're going in and you've got a lead, you're happy, but your shooting percentages aren't great for both teams, and some of the execution's not where we've seen it. There we see the leading scorers, and 24 points is
not
very,
good.
very difficult to defend.
Yeah.
And so from that sense, I think that the JackJumpers, as we heard from Will Magnay, he'd be happy with their defensive efforts. He does have the 4 block shots, and he has protected the rim really well. Crawford's led the way with the 9. 7 to Magnay. And as I mentioned, although you know, they're leading, they're certainly not lights out shooting themselves at only 35%, with 11 of 31 from the field.
But time is on their side. They're gonna, you would expect them to get a little bit better as this tournament goes along, potentially.
My word, I was really keen to see all the players, of course, for the JackJumpers and how they're going to go about it to defend their title. But Craig Sword is the one that he didn't play in that. Now there may have some injuries, there may be other issues. We spoke to Scott Roth, and he did not mention it when we asked him about injuries. So it seems like that's a coach's decision at this stage. He only played 10 minutes in that evisceration at the hands of the Adelaide 36ers. So maybe he's just trying to indoctrinate him into the schemes and the systems that the JackJumpers are going to play.
Indoctrinate, that's an interesting word for that. Well, no, I mean, it's like a culture thing, isn't it? So he's trying to get everybody up to speed with how they play and
learn the system, learn the culture, learn how they go about it. And that's what takes some time, particularly with the way Scott Roth runs his teams.
Yeah, you can see how that he's built a really nice program, and you know they're going to be potentially, you know, defend that title this season, NBL.
And we talk about Quimsa as well, and what they're doing. 2 weeks into their preparation, so they've still got some work to do, and they're trying to right the wrongs of what happened last season as well. Finished on top, I think it was 32-6 in the regular season, lost in the semi-final of Boca Juniors, who ultimately went on to win the whole thing. So that leaves a bit of a bad taste in your mouth as well.
Yeah. Brasino and Jordan Crawford having a conversation here before the game as the battle recommences. Starts up again. So Quimsa trying to come out and find some success on offense. Just 24 points in the first half, going up against the JackJumpers and missing Romano from that left corner right at the start. And that was what Magne said. They've done a good job, the JackJumpers, of pushing them out to the three-point line. There's Doyle over to Tarangi, wide open, a little bit long. And the hands up, Brasino takes it right away from Crawford. And it's going to go in, and, well, I think he was looking for a foul. Does he get it? And now Drimmick. And a whistle blows, a foul called.
Brasino there he overread it. Milton Doyle was coming, but he had the front spot, and he tried to draw the contact rather than just using the rim to protect it.
Yeah, that was a missed opportunity.
Wow.
Because when you're down, if you can get points off turnovers, that's the easiest way back into a game. There's Tarangi, good catch. Ooh, and before the shot, he thought he was going to be going to the free throw line.
Well, Quimsa would feel a bit jilted because it looked like Drimmick traveled badly on the possession before. Got bailed out by a foul.
Here's Doyle, open for three and misses everything. Misses so badly though it fell to Magne, and then Crawford catches it and is fouled shooting a three by Romano.
Yeah, it is. Really good ball movement around the three-point line.
Well, it's not often that an air ball three-pointer leads you to getting 3 free throws, but this is what happens.
Yeah, that's a
He
foul.
took away his landing space, or kind of bought his landing space, just kind of moved into him.
Body contact as well.
Right in front of the G League United assistant, in fact.
He's got a pen and paper. He's scribbling madly because that's the next game up for the JackJumpers. They'll be taking on G League United, who had a big 78-65 win over Quimsa yesterday. And Jordan Crawford misses another free throw. He was a decent free throw shooter at 78%. That's about par. I call that par.
Yeah, well, we don't need to have that conversation again. We realize that you were great at the line.
No, it's not about
90
me.
plus.
It's not about me, but here it is. You're stationary. The rim don't move. You got no one distracting you.
Well, he's just made the second.
And you gotta.
He heard you.
It's an area that really 78 should be passed. 2 out of 3.
66.66%. Now, Quimsa looking for an unsportsmanlike. Not going to get it. So that was that Ruben Tarangi. So anyway, Quimsa still just kind of struggling, passing it back out. Here's where,
he stepped out of bounds.
It looked like it. Man, knocks down the three. She was right there, the referee, so he must have kept his foot in barely.
Maybe the heel was elevated.
Yeah, I think that's what it was. And to Tarangi, and he's fouled by Miller.
We're actually located on the baseline right down that sideline, so that's why it looked.
Here it is, watch this. Oh,
you can't really see it from that angle.
Yeah, it was his right foot.
But I think
he caught it, but
yeah. You did see him on his toes, so maybe the heels, Sean Elliott style from the 1999.
Yeah, it's bringing back some
NBA San Antonio Spurs.
Quarter of a century ago, we're talking.
Last series, yeah, it's a long time ago. Ruben Tarangi, he's another interesting one. His form's been a little inconsistent over the last couple of seasons, and he's looking to find himself a home here with the JackJumpers.
Oh, Little contact there. Well, I think it bodes well for him that he's able to sign a deal with the defending champions. They must like what they see in him.
Well, he's got a long history in the league with a number of different clubs. Spent the last 4 or 5 seasons with the Southeast Melbourne Phoenix. And prior to that was with the Brisbane Bullets. Prior to that, he was a New Zealand breakup. So he's been around.
Oh, turnover. Drimmick gets it over to Crawford. There's Drimmick. Short. And Magne with another rebound. Doyle gets it to Magne. Oh, bizarrely, Magne not able to finish that one. Ooh. And Doyle, Romano goes down looking for a foul. Nothing called, and it's Batista, the Puerto Rican referee, saying stand up. That's a flop. Oh, good hands, Magne. That's block number 5. Here come the JackJumpers. Oh, that was a bump and the bucket.
So quick. It was a little hesitation. Freezes the defense. Have a look at this. That hesitation and then the quick with the left.
And then able to maintain the concentration as he kind of gets fouled. Yeah, hugely important player for this JackJumpers team.
Goes ahead with the bonus. You just feel like this is critical time now for Quimsa because they can't score. And if this one starts to get out of hand, it's hard to play catch up.
Look good on that one.
Oh, yeah, for the free throw, but it's hard to play catch up when you're bogged down in your half court all the time.
Oh, got it, picking them up full court. And they force the turnover. Then Romano sneaks up and knocks it away. Skip pass. And boy, that's making the best out of a bad situation right there. Basabi knocking down the 3.
Yeah, and it's
looked like they were going to turn it over.
The reaction of Scott Roth because Drimmick had the steal. He just wasn't aware of Romano coming from behind.
Drimmick just grazes the net, and then it falls to Tarangi, who misses with the putback, but then he gets it back.
Almost every one of Drimmick's shots has been short.
Milton Doyle, feet behind the line, that's long. And now the reach and the foul, Tarangi. So McDonald's going to come back into the game. Here it is again. Look at this. Basabi. This is after they almost turned it over. I think we've actually seen both teams kind of make the best out of bad situations today.
Drimmick, as I mentioned, hasn't played those 2 preseason games, and those heavy legs, every shot's coming up short. He's 1 of 6 on the evening.
And that's what he does. He's a scorer. Definitely.
He's also very good at this end of the floor. He's one of their defensive stoppers. Has had some big assignments throughout his career.
Tarangi gets to the baseline. Oh, nice move, Tarangi.
The help came, but he pivoted, split the double, and was able to get through in a very small opening. Light on his feet.
Yeah, very slick move by the tall black. That was a big bucket. Is Quimsa trying to mount some type of rally here? There's Romano to Basabi. That's another one. His second 3. Basabi trying to shoot his team back in it. Gets it back to a 10-point deficit. Remember, Tasmania will take on the G League United tomorrow. Here's Kuslovic, denied, and look at Tarangi in there hustling, getting the rebound. Just one Tasmania JackJumper, and he's out jumping the competition.
Well, it is, and sometimes it's just effort, determination. This has been a better showing by Quimsa in this third period.
Yeah, here's Sword checking in for the first time in the game.
Gets his first look at some action with this smaller lineup. So it's real contrasting. We've seen with the lineups that Scott Roth can go with. This puts Krislovic in the 5 spot.
Sansimone's in the game now. Wasabi's in, no doubt he's going to get some shots up, and Tarangi makes 1 of 2. So Tarangi comes out and is replaced by Mashak Deng. So they bring some size back in. What do you think? You think Wasabi's going to get a touch here?
Yeah, well, he should.
He's just hit 2. Oh boy, Brasino, that was a bad turnover. McDonald gets it back to Krislovic, who takes it back and hits Sword. Welcome to the game, Craig Sword.
Yeah, good defense by McDonald. Krislovic with the follow-up as well. Comes down there, knows McDonald might be in some trouble, was there for the bailout pass.
And that's just a bad turnover by Brasino.
It is. At that time, too, you cut it to 10, and you're starting to get a bit of momentum, and it goes pear-shaped from there.
I can't wait to hear what Coach Romella says and how he says it. Let's go down to the bench.
Nico, Tavario, anda para el lado de Nico, Pato, anda para el lado de Nico ahí. Nico y Pato, y Tavario lo buscamos a Pato acá. Pato, si no hay nada, Emi, quédate acá. Si no hay nada, Pato, te vas y sale. Juani, mira acá. Y sale Nico a jugar con Juani. Andate, Emi. ¿Entendiste? Claro. Y si no te vas y juegan y sale Nico.
But I think also for Quimsa, this game is going to get a little bit harder as it goes along just because they played on day 1. This is Sword finishing that last play after the turnover.
Yeah. Well, one of the more interesting things that Scott Roth told us before the game, that he has not ruled out Jack McVeigh suiting up for the JackJumpers at some stage this coming season. Now, he's not going to be there for the start, but for whatever the reason, with the contract that Jack McVeigh signed with Houston, that he believes that there's a reasonable chance that he might actually be back with the team. And they've built the team around that prospect.
Quimsa, Brasino missing. You know, I think related to Jack McVeigh, I think, you know, Australians and even JackJumpers fans would like to see him have some success and make an NBA, but on the other hand, you know, mixed emotions there. You want to get him back.
Of course.
Oh, Brasino, I thought he turned over, but they do get another chance, and Brasino misses with the open jumper. Doyle gets it back to Dang. Oh, nice bounce pass to Sword. Dang goes up for the rebound, and it's Miller, who hasn't been quite as dominant on the glass today, does get the rebound. Now Wasabi decides to go in this time. Dang now on the open floor, the ball knocked away. But it's going to remain Tasmania basketball.
It's been sloppy by Quimsa. They times where they haven't been able to grind it out. Just there's certain moments in games that are more important than others, and at those key moments they haven't been able to take advantage.
Exactly. A couple of times. There's Dang. Zavar comes up with the rebound. Zezular, rather, excuse me. throw it over. Nope, they couldn't get it over Sword. And now a technical foul's been called on Miller. Had words.
Well, we saw a quick one in the first quarter with Majuk Deng. And one thing I will say, it's consistency, which we like with our officials. Miller upset, but I thought Sword did a good job of fronting. And it was a poor pass, poor entry pass to get it to Miller.
And now it gets harder because Magnay's come into the game. So McDonald here at the line and makes the free throw.
Some good minutes by Chris Levick.
So we could hear Miller talking. He's saying he's hooking his leg. So he obviously felt like he was fouled. But at the end of the day, I guess it depends how you communicate that to the referee. Here's Doyle, knocks it down. And the lead now balloons to 16 points, 17 points, excuse me. 9 points for Doyle, and all 9 coming from behind the arc.
This extended defense is causing Quimsa some problems as well. You cannot go under. Now, it's easy for me because I've seen this Milton Doyle the last 2 seasons, most of his games, and Zazula there maybe didn't read the scout and tries to go underneath the screen, and that's
toxic.
Automatic for Milton Doyle.
Well, you can't do that with Milton Doyle. So Brody Nunn has checked into the game. You used to play against his father, didn't you?
I did. Matt Nunn, he's coach at the NBL 1 level.
Hey, how about that? Tabarez knocking down the 3.
Brody Nunn played at University of Seattle, college career.
And Brody Nunn's brother's playing in America.
Yeah, Bailey Nunn plays at Sacramento State. Oh,
here he is, Brody.
Didn't hesitate.
Passaroni back in the game. He looked pretty good in the first half. And Steindl is going to come into the game. How do the Australians view playing in American college basketball? You had a year at Seton Hall.
No,
and you have so many.
Yeah, it's a big part of it now, and I think it's a good thing. Athletes can be exposed to a high level of basketball, get a degree. It's a great opportunity, but like everything, you've got to get the right program that fits your skill sets, and sometimes not all the players.
They're attracted more by the name of the school than
sometimes.
Sometimes. One of 2. I know a lot have gone to St. Mary's over the years.
Yeah. Done a great job of developing some players, and there's an offensive foul by Magnay.
So giving it back to Quimsa, who are down just 13 points, making a little run here.
See, Scott Roth's patience with Craig Sword as well. He was only on for 2.5 minutes. He made a bucket, had 1 foul off the ball, and yanked him pretty quickly.
So Milt Doyle also comes out. Tabarez. Ooh. And Magnay falls down, not able to get up. And Tabarez drives in and scores. And so just like that, it's a 12-point game. Or 11, excuse me. Here is, oh, nice finish from Majuk Deng. Oh, nice pass. Oh, flying in and dunking it home, Zezular.
And that's a good punishment for the extended defense. If you can get it over the top of that front line and you got guys running the floor, those easier opportunities can present.
Oh, look at the hustle, getting on the ground for the basketball. Good effort by Quimsa. Tabarez getting it done on both ends of the court. Here's Magnay, and a little bit of bully ball going right up over Sansamoni.
Sansamoni tried to get away with a flop, knew he was beaten.
Here's Sansamoni firing it up for the three, and Quimsa have a pulse. It's a 10-point game. Oh, yeah, that was Zezular with the foul. It's just they're reacting because of the lateness of the call, but I think they wait to see
what happens,
how the contact impacts the play, and then he makes the call.
That was one of the easiest calls the officials have to make. Look at this reach in
Yeah.
with the right arm, blocks it. I mean, that's as clear as day.
Yeah.
That is such a simple call, and you're right. I think the reaction comes more because the call was a little late than it was that they want to dispute the actual call.
And now, because of the reaction, Steindl goes up and takes a technical free throw.
Well, he's one of the all-time great free throw shooters in NBL history. He was 88% last season, and they were in the bonus. So now we go with Crawford. Gets a couple of freebies.
So Ramela gets the technical, and not good timing. It's back to a 12-point lead.
Oh, Magne picked it. He went underneath.
Asarani was not able to cope with Magne that time, and he got away with it. Sansimone puts it up and is fouled by Nunn.
That's a tough situation from a rookie. Coming in, and Scott Roth doesn't like it, even with 21 seconds to go.
Drimick is going to come back in. And look at him coaching him up. What would you call that, a teaching moment?
Absolutely. And that's why he subbed him out. Plus he brings in, well, a guy that normally
Drimick
can spread the floor. There's a technical foul. Is that another tech being called? Oh no.
Just waiting for the other team for the Jack Jumpers to go up and get their position. They're going to wait for the second free throw. Oh my. And Sansimone makes the first.
It's been a good effort by Quimsa. This was looking bleak. They got 18, 19 points down 3 or 4 minutes ago, and they've done a good job to basically square the ledger for the quarter. They trailed it by 10 at half, and only trail it by 10 as we speak.
Sansimone makes both. So he has 9. He's actually hit both of his 3 attempts. Rolfie back in the game. So the final shot here going to be taken, it looks like, by the Jack Jumpers.
Bit messy.
Drimick.
Real messy.
Yep. Doesn't even get the shot off in time. So execution at the end of the quarter, not good for the Jack Jumpers, who seem to have this thing in hand, but Quimsa battle back. Is 56-46. Tasmania on top of Quimsa, 10 minutes remaining. Well, look at those numbers. One more 3 now has been made by Quimsa. And Tasmania, though, a lot of free throws. 75% they've made, 15 of 20, which for you isn't good enough, but
no, well,
for me it is.
You got to have high expectations.
No, I'm just kidding.
And there's been some good moments, but Quimsa has played themselves back into this is a ball game. This game is still well and truly alive, only trailing it by 10, and that was their best quarter so far for Quimsa in this one. And I think a lot of similarities to their game last night. They get out and start pushing the floor, pushing the ball, and good things happening for them.
Basabi hit a couple of threes. And that gave Quimsa some hope, but then it was Tasmania that went back up by 19. This was Sword after he came into the game. but then he was yanked out quickly after a foul. I think the messages that we've seen, and this was the great dunk on the break from Zezular. The message from Roth has been, listen, we're going to play smart basketball, and if you don't have the right, if you don't play it the right way, you're coming out.
No
It
doubt.
doesn't matter who you are.
Well, and that is, you see that a lot in preseason games.
Yeah.
Now, I know there's a lot at stake here. It's the Intercontinental Cup. There's a lot of prestige, but there's still teaching moments that you've got to go through as you prepare for what lies ahead. And we've seen a few of those, not just with the JackJumpers.
So fourth quarter action underway in the Singapore Indoor Arena of the FIBA Intercontinental Cup game between Tasmania JackJumpers and Quimsa, and it's the JackJumper of JackJumpers, Steindl, that goes up and knocks down another three.
You must make him put the ball to the floor. He's a catch and shoot guy, even off the move.
Tavares gets it to Vasaroni.
Another example of the presence of Magnay.
Vasaroni missing. Crawford, gets blocked right at the last second by Rolfie.
Well, he's led the way. He's got the 15 points, but as you mentioned, being to the free throw line, 7 of those 15, he's 7 of 10. He's only 3 of 4 from the field. 7 of 10 from the free throw line, and again, just trying to milk a foul out of the officials, but that certainly wasn't there on that occasion.
Magnay keeps it, passes to the corner. Drimic.
Short again.
But Magnay keeps it alive, and then a bump, and is it on Romano?
It is on Magnay. Here again, a good kick out pass to Drimic. He's going through the motions right now, trying to figure out his shot, but each and every one of his shots have hit the front of the rim.
Still time for Quimsa as they try to get that first win at the FIBA Intercontinental Cup against Tasmania JackJumpers. First Australian team to play in this competition. Here is Magnay, nice. Patience, gets it back. And Tavares whistled for the foul.
Yeah, Will Magnay doesn't like it. I thought he got hit on the first one, a lot of contact on the arms. Let's have a look at it. The second one, that's clear cut.
Yeah, Tavares
tried to get his hand in there. I don't think he intentionally tried to cause any damage. And Magnay just takes his foot out, and you can see that he was not happy.
And you can see that Tavares was like, what, me?
Yeah, that's...
Oh, it's definitely a foul.
This is Magnay.
Well, this is where they've done a lot of their damage today, the free throw line.
Well, as we mentioned, only a 50% free throw shooter. That one looked a little rushed. The form's not horrifically bad. The form is actually okay. Just the timing and the connection between the feet and the arms and the legs, getting all going at the same time, and also what's going through your head. Mentally, when you're a poor free throw shooter, you fix the technique, but it's hard to get the demons out of your head.
Well, nice crowd here today on day 2 of the FIBA Intercontinental Cup. San Simone, splits the D. Passes it back outside. Romano, and almost one pass too many. They reset the shot clock. Magnay comes down with the basketball. Scott Roth looks over at the table and says, why did you reset the shot clock?
Crawford trying to do a little too much. It's now or never. for Quimsa. Trailing it by 14. Still got plenty of time. 8 minutes is more than enough time. But when you only have 46, you don't not instill with great confidence.
No, it's been the offense that's really let them down. That offensive foul, giving it back.
Romano again. I think that's his third foul in trying to set screens. The third time he's tried to set a screen. And you love the desire to help your teammate out to try and get him free. But you can't afford to be moving and causing another turnover with an offensive foul.
Definitely trying to get a turnover here. They get it to Dremick, and his tough shooting day continues.
It's a real tough one.
How tough is it now?
It is now. You've missed a few every time you're thinking about it.
Oh, thought that was going in, but Sansamoni this time doesn't find the range. Here's Deng. You know that Majak Deng wants to launch one. Magne gets it down low, scores, spinning with that left hand. And Vasarani, fortunate he didn't turn it over there, because as he was the inbounds pass, it slipped out of his hands.
Well, Vasarani's got to do a better job of denying him the ball. Good D by Crawford, pulled the chair out.
And look at the pass from Magne on the break to Dremick, who I think is thankful to be taking a layup. He just didn't see the ball go in the basket.
And there's a tech foul off the ball.
With Basabi and Jordan Crawford. Goodness me.
Basabi just went up and hip and shouldered him. Now, Jordan Crawford's not a big-time talker. So, sometimes the little fellas can frustrate you.
We are on day 2, and it's been an exciting 2 days so far. But don't forget, there is more to come. We've got Saturday.
Mandalo a Pato, Emi. ¿Quién me queda?
If you haven't got your tickets yet, don't forget to grab them.
Ponete acá, Fortu.
All you need to do is scan the
Y
QR code on the
Edu, ponele el pick acá para Chule. Mandalo a Pato que cortine con Emi. Buen pick ahí. Y lo sacamos a Pato arriba. Mírame. Si no hay nada, abrí Fortu y pick con Pato. Pick and roll con Pato ahí. ¿Está claro? Dale, vamos.
Pero en la salida. Sigamos ahí. Sigamos jugando.
That was the pass from Magne on the break to Dremick. And then right after that, watch this right here. It gets a little scrappy.
There's nothing in that. There's the overhead of the layup.
It was right after this is when it happened, but I'm not sure we're going to catch it. Ruben Turangi's going to come back into the game.
Well, I don't know. There was a technical foul. I'm just not sure why we're not shooting.
I think it was offsetting technicals, potentially.
Ah, 2 of them, was it? Okay.
Yeah, they called one on Crawford and on, yeah.
Fair enough. There's that switching I was talking about with Krislovic in the game.
Basabi gets the pass to Vasarani, who got it off in time. Milton Doyle with a little bit of a runner. Dremick comes in and gets the rebound. Well, it's been a thankless task on the boards for Quimsa. That's been one of their problems. And McDonald knocks down the 3. They've out-rebounded them 42 to 25.
Yeah, it's been comprehensive. And even when they go, the Jack Jumpers go to this smaller lineup,
they still get.
They're still showing some energy, flying in after it.
Sansamoni turns it over. That's another issue, the turnovers.
Another one.
16 turnovers on Quimsa, now 12 on the JackJumpers, and 2 free throws. So 67-46, 21-point lead for for Tasmania. So it's looking like Tasmania JackJumpers in their game against G League United tomorrow will determine who plays in the final.
Yeah, it's
unless there's an amazing comeback here.
It's hard to see, and I think from what we saw of the G League United team last night, it's the JackJumpers.
Yeah,
JackJumpers are going to have their hands full. It's less structured than what you see with Quimsa, but a lot more athletic.
Yeah, a lot more tougher D out in the perimeter.
And they had a bad shooting
and
night.
Rebounding is not going to be quite as decisive, you would think.
They had a bad shooting night in the G League Unite. 6 of 28 from the three-point line. They're going to be better than that.
McDonald to Tarangi. Tarangi's been a real plus today. He's looked good.
Well, he has. He's really experienced, as you mentioned, international experience as well with New Zealand Tall Blacks.
Wasabi with a little runner across the lane. Sword. Oh. He's definitely got that burst, and he's able to finish with the left hand.
There was, and the shimmy to free himself up. Throws the defense.
Pass to the corner. Tavares. So 4:20 remaining, and Tasmania kind of easing to victory here over Quimsa. Sword definitely wanted to make the most of his minutes so he can get some more playing time in this tournament. Here's Doyle. Nice rebound from Tavares. 72-49. Entry pass to Miller, who hasn't been a factor today. Gets it back, puts it up and in.
And that's what he can do. He's strictly around the basket. We saw him take some perimeter shots. And when I say perimeter, just outside the key yesterday, he was 0 of 3. In fact, 3 air balls, pretty close range, but he's a beast on the boards. Even tonight,
he's got 8 rebounds today, so a quiet 8 rebounds, I would suggest.
Coming off a 16 rebound performance.
Tavares hustles down. There's Miller. That's rebound number 9. And that three-pointer is good from Rolfie.
Well, someone like Craig Sword, it's not just in Australia, but right around the world. When you ain't seen a lot of time, you're worried about your job, because teams, imports are somewhat replaceable, and the early signs, maybe it's just acclimatizing him to the system, figuring out his role. A couple of good moves, he's had a couple of nice moves finishing around the basket.
Yeah, so every time he's out here, he needs to, we heard as well yesterday, as you look at the Rolfie 3, Toscano talking about how maybe he's playing for a job.
Yeah.
For the G League United.
Well, he's trying to impress teams here and around the world. He's looking for an international job. He was open in his interview post-game about what he wants to do. Sure, he'd love to get back in the NBA, but he's at that stage of his career that he's happy to look at international club basketball.
Final seconds taking off the clock on the shot clock, and Brasino knocks it down. We've seen this so often from Quimsa. It's like they're getting run out of the gym, and then they go on a run and make it a little interesting, but I think that they're not going to have enough time here with 2:15 to go. Here's Doyle for 3. Count it! He's starting to find some rhythm, isn't he?
No, he is a quality player, both on and off the ball. Clearly, you see the stroke.
12 points, all coming from deep, 4 of 9. Chicago's finest brings it up the floor. Nunn drifts in, puts it up, and gets his first bucket of the FIBA Intercontinental Cup.
Good deep.
Well, that's put up a difficult shot. It leads to a break now. And here's Sword. Well, getting pretty excited about the dunk.
Pretty regulation. I think he's got the capacity to express himself a little bit more than that once he gets a bit more confident.
Yeah, I think he didn't want to miss that one.
No,
he doesn't want to hurt his playing time. There's the pass, and there's Sword coming up with the swat. So making a good impression here in the second half is Sword. And I like how Roth is still expecting to see his team come out and play the right way here. Wants to see some movement. Doyle again off the back of the rim. Another rebound from Miller. He's in double digits. Brasino able to get it up and in.
That's more like the Brasino that we've come to see.
Know and love.
Exactly. A bit more aggressive on the offensive end. 11 points.
Well, they're gonna run one more play here. Or they're gonna dribble this thing out. Nope, they're gonna run the play. Doyle. Dang. Sword with the rebound. Krislovic gets the bucket. And Brasino launches it. Oh, it looks good. Just a little long. It was definitely online, but it's the victory for Tasmania. First time an Australian team has played a game in the FIBA Intercontinental Cup, and they made it a memorable one. They win it 81-59 over Quimsa.
Well, they had some moments. It wasn't one of the most aesthetically pleasing games for big chunks of it, but it was a good fight by Quimsa. They ran out of legs at the end. Back-to-back nights for them. First game for the JackJumpers, and the JackJumpers just dusting off some rust from the off-season. And I think through all the checks and balances, Scott Roth will be pretty happy with a first-up performance. It's only going to get tougher from here, of course, with G League United, the NBA G League team, up next. And that's tomorrow. They'll get some rest, but...
So now Tasmania will not have the advantage because they played today, whereas G League United have been sitting back with their feet up watching this game. Look at this, 16 of 22 at the free throw line. So the free throw line was big for them today.
And the rebounds, which you mentioned, heavily in favor of the JackJumpers. And the way they moved the ball, distributed the 19 assists, helped their cause as well.
So Crawford 15 points, led all scores. Brasino, funny enough, had 11. Tabares as well had 11. So let's go down to the court. Well, we'll wait just a second here. They're going to try to corral one of the JackJumper players, maybe. So the JackJumpers will
They're
now
going through their warm down routine, and I'm not sure who they're trying to get. Have a chat to someone.
Why don't you go out there and talk to him?
No, I'm happy to. Happy to do it, but I think the audience would much rather hear
from one of the guys,
from one of the players, and their thoughts. But as I was saying, though, the JackJumpers will be pretty happy with what's going on, and I think we're going to have Will Magnay is